Brain Crypto, it is very appreciated that you have returned to my station. When will we XRP holders get our hands on what we have been waiting for? Could we finally be able to get rid of Kim Jong-Gensler, a despot and the top dog at the SEC? Is it feasible to select an alternative who will genuinely represent cryptocurrency and safeguard our interests? The subject will be discussed in our meeting. The former president gave a speech at the Bitcoin conference, which you may have heard about. A handful of his points will be emphasized by me. However, this headline was provided to us by Cointelegraph. Can Trump actually remove SEC Chair Gary Gensler immediately if re-elected, or is he merely trying to sway our support? My complete lack of experience and education in the financial sector makes me an amateur when it comes to this topic. Furthermore, please do not allow my words or writings to sway your financial choices. In my leisure time, I enjoy making comedy films on YouTube about Bitcoin. Just a fan here. Additionally, for amusement purposes, I want to make sure you remember a few important points that were brought up earlier, so I will give you some history. Due to the fact that numerous hypotheses circulated, although Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s prospects of actually being inaugurated are extremely slim, he is nevertheless stepping into the presidential contest. Regarding his candidature, I will remain silent. This is simply me being practical. I truly believe it is quite unlikely. However, something came up in the press recently. In his opinion, Bitcoins should be used as a reserve currency because they are supported by real assets. Because of this, he made a bold claim. Perhaps the best way to put it is, if elected president, he intends to follow an executive order and purchase 550 Bitcoin daily until the US has 4 million Bitcoin in reserve. The absurd rationale behind his decision is that it represents 19% of the entire Bitcoin supply. Until he mentioned that, I had no idea that the US holds 19% of the world's gold reserves. His decision to just mimic that impersonal appearance has a logical rationale. To buy 550 Bitcoin per day, though, would still take nearly 20 years. The price in 20 years is an obvious consideration, given that Bitcoins will still be relevant. On high ground, the seemingly insurmountable obstacle to overcome. He may as well have been a candidate with zero chance of winning, but that does not change the fact that he is publicly endorsing such a policy or executive order right now. Your knowledge and experience make you an ideal candidate for president. Does Trump actually elicit such a response from you? I have previously stated my belief that the likelihood of Trump actually carrying out this plan is quite low. Additionally, speculation began to circulate in the days preceding this event that he was going to announce a strategic reserve and Bitcoin. However, that did not materialize. In spite of his best efforts, he broached the subject of Bitcoin reserves. More details will follow, but there is a specific sequence I would like to follow. The establishment of a Bitcoin strategic reserve was also not mentioned in Senator Loomis's remark regarding Bitcoin 2024, as reported by Cointelegraph. Her dislike for her extends to Republican and Bitcoin maximalist Cynthia Loomis. I was hoping she would introduce a measure to formally legalize Bitcoin, but she has been rather clear about her position on crypto in general. Lead to the formation of a true strategic buffer. Should it make it through Congress, we would make use of Bitcoin. As one might expect, with the president's signature, Bitcoin would be officially acknowledged as a US dollar reserve asset. I yelled out since I had no idea how she is going to hang it. To what extent she plans to carry it out is something I am unable to say. Even with Hillary's blessing, Trump's endorsement of such a scheme would be startling. Still, she should act on her interest in the matter, even if it is only for publicity, and do it. We have examined Gary Gensler and other events that have taken place, Since there are many parties involved, now we may go on to the present. Wait a second, before we go into the reserve in further depth. Watching with bated breath the speech, there is a lot of pandering going on here, which I will touch on briefly later in the film, but summer is still summer. Republican and former President Trump has reportedly pledged to fire SEC Director Gary Gensler once he gets well, according to this Telegraph headline. Trump has also promised to swiftly change policies. Might alter in the event that Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris defeats him in the November presidential election. On July 27, Trump spoke to Bitcoiners at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Extra than an hour passed before the former president could speak because of his accusations that the Secret Service need extra time at the spot. The Republican presidential candidate in November campaigned on a platform that included dismantling the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission under Gary Gensler and forming an advisory council focused on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Could you possibly support that? As of right now, Gary Gensler, you should resign from your post. From the depths of Hades, this winged monster hails as a descendant of Satan. That being's control over the SEC being released would thus constitute a victory. I believe we can all agree on that. Let us pretend I am correct. Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Advisory Council to the President, of course. It is unnecessary to refer to it as the Presidential Advisory Council on Crypto and Bitcoin. It is unnecessary to use cryptocurrency. A cryptocurrency token sale might be the solution. To top it all off, it addresses every possible perspective. However, I can understand his motivation in trying to sway Bitcoin maxi types and Bitcoinistas. Then, after he takes the oath of office, he promises that your industry will be free from weaponization and persecution. Going forward, I will appoint a new head of the SEC who supports the idea that the United States should encourage growth rather than hinder it. Before I get into pandering, though, let me get this out of the way, even if he intends for his deeds to seem more significant than his words. So, I am going to presume that they generally back a lot of crypto-related issues. For Republicans, supporting cryptocurrencies has basically become party ideology. Republican support for any legislation including Bitcoin is also certain. I just cannot get my head around the concept that Trump would just make moral remarks and do nothing. If you like and subscribe to my video, I will be able to contact you later.